folks, well again we're just going to dive in a little bit to the caliber debate, the handgun debate on what caliber is best. Well, really you go into what is the purpose of what you're using for. For obviously kind of narrow the field just a little bit and go into home defense, or defensive purposes besides target shooting, practice shooting, those types of activities. So anyway, the debate has been going on since the early 80s, I would think, where 9mm versus 40 Smith and Wesson, and I'm torn between these two calibers quite a bit. I love the 9mm. I love the easy recoil, the amount of capacity, all those things, but I also like the velocity and added caliber, I guess you would get from the 40 Smith & Wesson. But anyway, really it comes down, I think, to what your own preference is. Like I said, I don't think I'm bringing anything new to this debate. Hopefully I will be able to educate some newer shooters who are just coming to the table for this information a little bit. But anyway, between these three calibers, I mean, you're going to get your diehard individuals who only advocate for 9mm or 40 or 45 ACP. I mean, that's just how it goes. But really, I see that each one has its own uses, its own advantages over the other. I do think that there is kind of the best overall here that we have on the table, but anyway, we'll get to that in here in just one moment. Alright folks, what you're looking at here is an example of magazine capacity. On your left you have the magazine out of my Glock 27, which is the same size magazine out of the Glock 26 9mm versus 40 Smith & Wesson. This is the flush round magazine, which it holds 9. In the Glock 26 it would hold 10 rounds. And to the right here is my Glock 30 SF magazine. It holds 10 45. So we can use this as a comparison. You can use the magazine for the Glock 27 to represent the 26, and so 9 and 10 rounds to your left and then 10 rounds to your right. So you can immediately see the height and width of the magazine of the Glock 30. Now I love 45 ACP, but my Glock 30 is a big heavy handgun. I love toting it in the woods when I am going to be doing some alternative season hunts and those kind of things. But I also carry my Glock 27 40 Smith & Wesson a lot in the woods, and it is much easier to carry. It is thinner, it is lighter, and has more capacity, to be real honest with you, when I normally do carry with the additional 2-round base plate. I'll give you a look at that here in just a moment. But you can see that it does extend down and really doesn't add all that much length. I believe on the Glock 27, or 26 rather, it would add 3 additional rounds, where the Pierce grip adds 2 to the Glock 27 40 Smith & Wesson. Anyway, so you can see that the 45 ACP definitely takes a much larger magazine, even in this smaller capacity or compact size handguns. There's a significant difference, but not too much, to be real honest with you. When you really start getting into the full-size handguns, where those individual rounds really start to rack up when you start losing that capacity. Alright, well, we can take this just a little bit further here. On the far left we have Glock 17 mag, 17 round 9mm capacity. In the center you have your 40 Smith & Wesson, which is holding 15 rounds, and then on the far right you have 45 ACP with 13 rounds. So you can see where you're really starting to begin to lose some of that capacity when comparing the 45 versus the 17 round 9mm magazine on the far left. I mean, not only is it wider and thicker, but it is a heavy magazine holding those large caliber ammunition. So anyway, give you a perspective here on the capacity size and the magazine size. If I had a scale, I'd definitely put them on there for you. But anyway, you can really see a size comparison. Anyway, I want to make note here that the center magazine for the 40 Smith & Wesson is a bit shorter than the 17 round mag. On the left, it is the same size as the Glock 19 mag, which would hold 15 rounds, whereas this holds 13 rounds. You're losing about 2 rounds, and then also the additional height. When you get into that 17 round capacity, it is quite a bit of difference, even only with the 40 Smith & Wesson versus 9mm. Alright, well, here is a comparison between the Glock 27, again, it has the extended magazine within it, and also the Glock 30 SF. It has a 10 round magazine with it. Now, there's not that much difference between the two sizes. Basically, your Glock 30 is the same height and length as the Glock 19. It is definitely, I think, a 1/4 inch thicker than the Glock 19 itself, but really is not that much difference for what we had seen in the different sizes of capacity as far as concealment is concerned. Definitely the Glock 30 is easy to conceal for its size. It does have a girth and a weight to it, but you can get it easily concealed and is definitely a smooth shooter. On the other hand, the Glock 27 is super easy to conceal, has higher capacity, but is a bit snappy when it comes time to shoot. I think in any confrontation, your adrenaline is going to be pumping enough that you're not going to anticipate the recoil, or the recoil is not going to be as critical as you might be target shooting, wanting to hit a dime-sized target at 20 yards. You know, center mass shots. Definitely you can get those follow-up shots when your adrenaline's pumping. Alright, here's just another real quick size comparison. You've probably seen this gun in the background, and it is the Glock 34 9mm. This is the comparison to the Glock 19. Currently, the Glock 19 does have the X grip on it, sporting the 17 round magazine, so the grip is actually full size right now, but compared to slide length, and again, the Glock 30 SF is basically about that same size.